This weather's nuts. It's been raining for like 4 days. Now I'm getting sun for like 10 seconds, overcast. So I pulled the car inside. I just cleaned the engine. I cleaned the wheels outside because they're nasty. Well, 2 of the wheels outside. Let's see, it's Thursday night, it's 6 o'clock, and I want to do all the wet work tonight. All right, we'll come back for that because I want to get all the tar off. This is a first. Look at this door edge. Oh man. Oh, it's so dirty. Gross. All right, so here's the hood. Now, I did not see this when he dropped the car off, but we got this long strand of it's clear coat. So he must have gotten a chip on here. There's clear coat in a handful of other areas. But the main part of this hood, like we got tar, or rubber rather, rubber marks, we got tree sap in a handful of areas. So I want to get this off. So I'm just going to scratch it off and then just compound my polish or my scratches out. I'm going to sand it down without removing it completely. 2500 grit. But it's right there. Okay, flex 3-inch rotary. Lake Country hybrid wool pad, Meguiar's M100. But I want to work down the passenger side. You can see my holograms from my rotary yesterday. But the rest of this is just some light defects, like above the door handle. And then just down the side. Okay, so for this side, I've been using a couple tools. 21 Mark III, I put a heavier wool cut pad on. I'm still using the same polish. And then I have the 15 Mark III, right? So this is a 5.5 inch backing plate versus a 6.5, right? So by using a couple machines of different sizes, I can be, really efficient with this. Right? Because it is a small car, but this is a big flat door. Rotary is nice because it rotates on one axis, right? So whereas a DA will be banging around into this stuff, the rotary is much more precision tool. There's kind of misconception with rotary that you're always going to get holograms, it's always going to be a mess. Holograms are really a function of like a heavy cut pad, a heavy cut compound, but with foam, like it's not, the risk isn't there. If I'm polishing a big flat panel like these doors, using the 21 6.5 inch pad is way more efficient. I'm just kind of getting a rhythm of what works best. Small area rotary, big area DA. It's not complicated. All right, so I was just doing this area. Again, no holograms, no nothing. You'd see it if there was any. Polish the emblem. And this other side is our before. All right, light defects, light swirls. This is what we're going for. Super simple. All right, good morning. Saturday. And start with the ceramic. Get the exterior done, and then start working on the interior. So identical detail to the last video. Each car has its own little quirks about it. This one was probably the tree sap. The interior is a little funky, but they're all the same. With this type of work, it's pretty rare that I book something on short notice, unless it's existing client and it's, it's easy. But for a new client, there's typically a dance, not a huge dance, but a little bit. So we'll see. But, if I can get a car next weekend, I'll take it. I'm not counting on it though. All right, so this is Vincent's HPDE car, right? High performance driving event car. I've never been in a car on the track. I did motorcycle track days for years, but I never been with a car. That was my old hobby, right? Before we were in. All right, so 2016, we moved down to North Carolina from the DC area. We're living in Maryland. We stopped riding on the street. It was all just track days. It wasn't racing, right? It's not timed events. They were just track days. The funny story is, it was the weekend before our wedding. My buddies and I went to a track day in Pittsburgh at Beaver Run. Right now it's called Pittsburgh International Racetrack. And I got in a wreck there. I went sent to the hospital. The ambulance picked us up on the track. We drove to the hospital. I shattered my pinky. I busted up my ring finger. I was a little banged up from that. So my wedding, I had a cast on my hand. Went on our honeymoon. I was all doped up on painkillers, and then I had another wreck down in Florida at Jennings, and same thing. I lost the front tire. I low-sided, busted up the same finger again. Went to the hospital, and then after that, I lost confidence in the front tire. I don't know if it spooked me or what, but it stopped being fun. So we kind of slowed down on the track. It was around the same time we were looking to move anyways. So, we stopped going the track, sold the track bike, moved to Charlotte. That was 2016. Okay, we're getting there. Story time's over. So it's Saturday afternoon. I'm a little more into this time-wise than what I'd like. The dealing with the tree sap was a little more time-consuming. The interior is more time-consuming than what I thought. I know Vincent, the owner, said don't worry about the interior, but I'm not gonna let it go as is. So the engine, I pressure washed and I scrubbed it during the initial wash. And since then, I've wiped it down. I've gone around all the edges. So I'm just going to add some trim, Carpro Pearl trim protectant on the cowl. That is the door clean. So I will condition the leather.